we're promoting home births. We're just promoting a good birth experience, but they happen to have a home birth. Maybe you want to share how that came about.
Sure. I knew from the beginning that I had this kind of fear of the hospital. I didn't have fear about childbirth, I had a fear of the hospital. I think stemming from a course I took in college and learning about some of the interventions and stuff that might happen. And so from the beginning I knew I wanted to have a doula to help us communicate what we wanted. And it was only when I was planning to labor at home as long as possible, I just didn't really think that a home birth was possible for my first birth. So we planned to just have a supportive, doctor, a supportive doula, hopefully a supportive hospital, and go that route. And then when we first engaged Janelle, we were talking, having our first meeting, and she kind of talked about, you sound like you kind of would be a good candidate for home birth, given your main concerns are about not the birth but about the hospital. So what if we removed that from the equation? And so I said, okay, well, I am interested, but logistically, what does that mean, and how do you do it? What do you need to have at home? So I was kind of going that direction. Once we kind of got through that, we were really excited about it. I mean, we took time to think about it and what we wanted to do.
I would say excited.
I was going to say from a father's perspective, what was that like for you?
I think like skepticism at first, but then the more we learned about it, definitely became a lot more comfortable about it.
Right.
I'm excited actually.
Right, yeah. Because usually from a dad's perspective, there'll be the first thing like, what? Seriously? Why not go to the hospital? What's wrong with that? That sort of thing. So what really helped you overcome that?
I think it was taking the courses,
okay.
My master's courses, and just I actually found them really even I think fun. Just kind of getting to know some other couples, and then also I don't know, for me, like even the biology part of things, and being able to kind of work through with that little doll baby that you just kind of seeing how the whole birth process works. Actually, I think just kind of knowing I think like having the game plan or birth plan, and then being able to kind of have something tangible to work from, and knowing what to expect, and knowing that you've got sort of a support network to call throughout the process as well. I think that was one of the biggest things for me personally, is just having that sort of reassurance and coaching almost. So anytime throughout the process, if we had a question, I wasn't sure what was going on, just text Janelle, and she'd be able to let me know, okay, that's totally normal, don't worry about it, or there's other ways to work around it. She'd be there for us.
So usually for a woman, we talk about this a lot, right? What's really important is for her to feel safe. What was the point for you where you felt like, all right, Alex got this? What did he need to do to make you feel safe? Like, how do you know that he got it?
I think just, little things. I think being engaged in class, or he wasn't, a little nudge. But just, he would actually say, oh, didn't you want to put up your affirmations on the wall? There were things that I said I wanted to do, but I hadn't gone around to it or whatever.
And he was reminding
me, he was taking ownership of, you need to follow through, and this is what you wanted in the home, so you should do it. So he pushed me, and even though I only did it in the last week or something, I think actually during the laboring it was very helpful. We were laboring in the room, and I could look up and see, I picked out the affirmations from the recording that I felt spoke to me the most. And I think there are a few that were particularly great for me, especially during, which is, every surge brings my baby closer to me. And actually for the affirmations, we had a nickname for him during the pregnancy, which is Blue, for baby Lou. And I replaced my baby with Blue in all of the affirmations that I wrote on the wall. So it was very personal. And so
nice.
I think his reminding me to kind of follow through on some of the stuff made me feel like, he's like, oh, you wanted candles, okay, or you wanted whatever. So he was getting that stuff ready.
Right. And when labor finally started, right, and
I was reviewing our birth log yesterday, and
what were your feelings like? You prepared, you did all the classes, you knew this was what you're gonna do, and then it finally was starting. Do you remember like what it felt like for you?
It was exciting, like it's starting, and then 2.5 days later, hey, Dr. Line, nothing's happening. So I think that was our biggest takeaway, that when, bloody show, when things start happening, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's on. So actually we had like a Sichuan dinner with friends. It was really nice. That was on our due date, actually. And then in the night, stuff started happening. So we're like, okay, I'm breathing through. He's texting with Janelle, and then the next day, but it just never progressed. The surges didn't get more regular or closer together, and so we did go in at one point to Glen Eagle. So despite the home birth plan, there was something Dr. I wanted to check out, so we came in, did a check for an hour, was fine, went back home, and essentially once we got to the 40.5-week checkup, he kind of laid out the options, and basically said that, okay, your water levels are not low yet, they're getting a little borderline, so here are your options. And having considered them, I was really originally against any kind of intervention, but we decided to go with the sweep because he said, just so you know, if you elect to just keep going naturally, you may not be able to have a successful home birth. And for me, that was the most important, was to have that safe, comfortable environment through which we could have a more natural and hopefully smooth, quick labor. So we elected to go with the sweep, and then things started happening on the cab ride home, and then it was really game on. So I think the biggest takeaway was I think there was some frustrations, especially on Saturday, on Sunday, when
you're just waiting and
it's like start, stop, and I knew it was a marathon. It's a marathon, but I said, I have no idea. I didn't know the marathon could be 3 days or whatever. So it was really hard in my head to mentally prepare. I knew I could mentally get through it, but I just didn't know how long. So that was, I think, once things actually finally started, it was like, okay, this is the real game time, and it felt a lot more, almost like comfortable because I knew what was going on. So
now that you look back at it, right, and you just, would you have done it otherwise, or what would be the advice to other parents? Like, if you have a labor that's, slow, early labor, that's quite normal. It's a warm-up process sometimes. So it starts and it stops and you don't know what is happening. What would be the best tip that you can give parents?
Okay, I guess the tip that I just shared, which is just knowing the possibility that once the first signs of bloody show or something happens, it may not necessarily, it means just having that mental preparation that this may not be it yet. So I guess without that expectation, because my expectation was X happens, then Y is going to happen, and it didn't happen for a little bit of time. So I think just being prepared, I knew that I think arming yourself with these facts really helps. So just knowing that, okay, the baby's not late if it's beyond your due date. Some of these things that are out there. So even once the first signs show, just be prepared that it might not be going on right away, and just try to, I guess, to whatever extent, do what you can. For me, I couldn't even go to my prenatal yoga class. It was sort of neither here nor there. I wasn't good enough to go about my normal life, but it wasn't actually,
in full
labor yet.
Yeah.
So just do what works, I guess.
What about you, Alex? From a father's point of view during this period, like?
I think throughout the process it was kind of all about preparation.
Yeah.
I think just sort of knowing sort of what is supposed to happen, having a plan, having sort of contingencies should things not go according to plan, just gives you that extra reassurance, and I'm kind of likes to kind of know what I'm going into beforehand. Mm-hmm. So that just gives you extra peace of mind. So I would say, surprisingly, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but I felt like I was pretty calm and relaxed throughout the process. Just because I had Janelle there to be able to say
you felt supported,
and then also, hey, if we worst comes to worst, if we do need to go to the hospital, it's not that far. Got my overnight bag packed, all that stuff. So. I think just preparedness for me personally.
Okay, so as first-time parents, right, what was the one thing you did not expect postnatally?
I can actually answer that. And actually, it's not a. For Vicki, I couldn't believe right after she had given birth to a baby how active she was, like, and how with it, and like, you know, I was almost like, I was seriously amazed at, like, she had just gone through labor and she was walking around like nothing had happened. I know a lot of that has to do with some of like the endorphins or hormones.
And then drug free.
But for me, it's more like, woman, like, slow down. Like, you just had a baby. Like, you don't have to, like, you know, you don't have to do everything the next day. And she's a go-getter as well. So I mean, that's part of her personality. But I think for me, that was the biggest shock. Is like how how just completely normal she was right after.
And to link to the earlier question about doctor at home or going to the doctor the next day, so we had gone to the pediatrician and then we had a Dr. Lai checkup the next day, and so we were like there, and then I was like, oh, so we went to Chili's for lunch. Times were after. Max is like laying in the booth at Chili's on his first day of life, and he was like, oh, this is a nice day walking around Orchard, and so we should probably go home and rest. And there was so much adrenaline and just endorphins. I mean, we were, after the birth, I mean, Janelle, Katie, before, we were just hanging out, and you know, he was latching. We were just hanging out 4 hours after he was born, and it was like, okay, I guess, you know, we should try and sleep now. And it was just a lot of excitement.